Hello my crochet friends, thank you for clicking on the video. I am recording this on the day that it's reached 38 degrees, so I do hope this fan isn't causing too much background noise. I've got a beautiful crochet project for you today. Adorable. It's easy, quick project. If you're looking for something like a blanket can take a long time, something quick and easy. And this would be good for gifting or gift to yourself. Why not? We have this beautiful crochet drawstring bag. Okay, nice and simple. The pattern is, I've done some bags you have the bottom where you do the foundation chain and then you have to work back around the bottom of the foundation chain and round. Done none of that. I've made this so that anybody that's maybe a very fast crochet could probably do this in a couple of hours. The rest of us, me included, a couple of days, 2 or 3 days. A nice, quick, easy project. Now, here's the magic bit. So we undo this bag. Beautiful, nice and big too. Nice. This could be like a wash bag. And inside we have another smaller little drawstring bag. Exactly the same pattern. Again, this one very quick. There's some couple of rows of texture detail in there, but the whole pattern is half double crochet stitches, apart from this little picot top at the top, which involves a half double crochet, but a little picot which is so simple to do. Don't be scared off by that, but it gives a beautiful little finish to the bag. And then you open this one, and inside a little dinky one to match, except I've swapped the main body is in yellow and the top is in pink, all exactly the same pattern. So here you can see the pattern. Let me undo it. You could go even further and have another one inside this. Why not? To put you could have this one as a wash bag with your flannels and soaps and toothpaste and toothbrush. The little one could have maybe your perfumes or soap, or make that in cotton yarn, soap bag in the shower. And then this one is maybe your jewellery. Cute, huh? But if you're just making the one, this one actually took me a couple of hours to make this dinky one, and I'm not the fastest crocheter in the world, So yeah, nice and roomy for all your bits and bobs in there, and then you just scrunch it up just like that. With this one, nice and roomy for, you could put your crochet hooks in it, your makeup. Oh, drawstring bags, I mean, the use for them is pretty endless, isn't it, really? You know, I've got lots of them in my room that, you know, hair products in one, hair clips in another, or, you know, hair clips, a smaller one, you know, perfumes in it, the smaller perfumes. I've also got one that has crochet hooks in this. Anyway, so that is this gorgeous little set. I'll just show this one. Exactly the same. So I'll show you how to do the tie, so that you just boom, and it's all scrunched up beautiful like that. You don't have to do this. I did my I got carried away with my the drawstring, and it's way too long, but of course you can make yours shorter. And then of course this one, and this one. A lovely little gift idea. Now the yarn, I've chosen bright colours with, inspired by this beautiful hot weather we're having at the moment. Oranges and yellows, nice bright coral to match the summer vibe, really. So the reason why this pattern is so quick is, drawstring bags are pretty quick anyway, but quite simple. Whatever yarn I've used, I have increased the hook size recommendation by 2mm. I'll show you another one I've made in an Aran. This one is a double knit yarn, which I used a 5.5mm. You could go up to a 6 even, and it works. The pattern is very simple, and if you use a large crochet hook, works up so fast. This one, just made the one in this colour, is an Aran weight yarn, and I used a 7mm crochet hook, which is big for a worsted or Aran weight yarn, but it took me two or three evenings to finish this. You can probably see the pattern on this one a little bit better. Half double crochets. So if you know your half double crochet stitch, that's all you need to know, and chain stitch, that's all you need to know for this pattern. Okay, let's get on with what you'll need to crochet these bags. Okay, so what you'll need to crochet these bags is your yarn. This is a double knit weight yarn. Double knit weight yarn, both of these. Crochet hooks. Now for the most part we will be using a, where's the thing, 5.5mm crochet hook size. Now for the when you're seaming up the sides of the bag, And you don't have to, but I tend to go for a smaller crochet hook size to make the stitches neat and small. This is a 4.5mm. Again, you can just use the one crochet hook size for the whole thing if you want to. You'll need some stitch. Oh, move those out of the way. Then we're going to need a tape measure, always handy. Stitch markers. I don't think I've made a crochet project yet without using stitch markers, even if it's just popping one in at the end of when I'm crocheting so that it doesn't come undone. And if you don't have these type of stitch marker, a good old hair clip will do just as good. I need some scissors. Again, kitchen scissors, perfectly fine. And guys, I know you see these kitchen scissors in every one of my videos. I will treat myself to some proper little beautiful crafting scissors. But at the moment, I've done well with good old kitchen scissors, and of course a darning needle, which is a large eye and a blunt end needle to sew in your ends. Okay, so that's what you'll need. And I'll just point out, I filmed the actual tutorial on a different surface because at the time my table wasn't accessible after my house move, so you'll notice the switch in the surface I'm working on. Okay, let's get on to crocheting this bag. We're going to start with a slip knot. Grab your hook, and for the foundation chain it's going to be a multiple of 2 plus 1. So yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. It's 2, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. And we're going to keep going until your foundation chain is the width that you want your bag to be, and that could be any width that you like. So make your foundation chain and I will meet you back here ready for row 1. Okay, so I've done a foundation chain of 19. That's 18 plus 1, so it's a multiple of 3 plus 1. And just to give you a little idea of how big, how long, sorry, how wide that is, we're 5 inches or 12 centimeters. So for row 1, we're going to make a half double crochet in the second chain from the hook. So yarn over, count 1, 2, hook in, yarn over and pull up a loop, then yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, and then for the rest of the row it's half double crochet into every single chain all the way to the end. So yarn over, find your next chain, hook in, yarn over and pull up a loop. You'll have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. So keep going row 1, half double crochet into every chain all the way until the end. You can pause the video here and I'll meet you as we're approaching the end of row 1 and we'll take it from there. So we're approaching the end of row 1, and to finish the row simply place a half double crochet into that last chain to finish the row. Okay, that's row 1. So on to row 2, and row 2 is one of the 2 repeat rows that we have. So chain 1, turn your work. Now we're going to make a half double crochet in every stitch, but in the back loop only. So you've got front loop, back loop. So yarn over and starting in this very first stitch, hook into the back loop, yarn over and pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. And then for the rest of the row exactly the same, half double crochet into the back loop of every stitch all the way until the end. Nice and simple. Yarn over, find your next stitch, back loop, make your half double crochet stitch. So carry on now, complete row 2, and I will meet you as we're approaching the end of the row. Okay, I'm approaching the end of row 2, and you'll see there's this last stitch here, and just to make sure that the edges stay nice and strong, we put our last half double crochet through both legs of the stitch rather than just the back loop. So we've got both legs there, hook through both of them on that last stitch. Okay, so that's row 2. Now we're going to repeat row 2 4 more times. So repeat row 2 until you have 5 rows in total. Now if it helps, you can place a stitch marker where each row is. So this is row 1. Counting chains is not as difficult as counting rows, I find. So you've got 1, 2. If that helps, you can do that. So the pattern now is repeat row 2 until you have 5 rows in total. Okay, so we have come to the end of row 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we're going to do row 6. Row 6 is one of the repeat rows, but we only need to do it 2 or 3 times. The main repeat row is row 2. Okay, row 6 we chain 2. 1, 2, turn your work. Now we're going to still using the back loop only, we're going to skip this first stitch here and work into the second one. So yarn over, hook into that second stitch there, into the back loop, yarn over, make your half double crochet stitch, then chain 1, then we're going to skip a stitch and work into the next. So yarn over, skip this stitch here and half double crochet into the back loop of the next one. Okay, then chain 1 and same again. We're going to skip a stitch, work into the next. So yarn over, skip this stitch, work into the back loop of the next, half double crochet stitch, then chain 1, and we're creating a little bit of texture and design to the bag. So repeat that all the way along row 6, and I will meet you as we're approaching the end of the row, ready for row 7. So I'm coming to the end of row 6. We've half double crochet there, chained 1, and then yarn over and again skip 1 stitch and half double crochet through both legs of the very last stitch to end row 6. And that's row 6. Now we're back onto row 7, which is a repeat of row 2. So yarn over and chain 1, turn your work, and we're going to do repeat row 2 for 5 rows. So if you want, it's easier, I did find it easier as well, bring in your stitch markers again and just mark out where you started row 7, and we're going to make 5 rows, 5 more rows of repeating row 2. Okay, so we're just coming up to the end of row 11. We've repeated row 2 another 5 more times. So now we're going to repeat row 6 one more time. Row 6 is we chain 2, turn your work, and we skip the first stitch, work into the second, into the back loop, make your half double crochet stitch, and then chain 1, and then skip 1, half double crochet into the back loop of the next, and then chain 1, and I will meet you ready for row 13. And at the end of row 12 we're going to finish the row with chain 1 and put your last double crochet, half double crochet through both legs. Actually we can take this stitch marker out now, through 2 legs of the stitch to finish the row, and that's row 12. So row 13 and row 14 will be a repeat of row 2. Great, okay, so we are ready for row 15, and row 15 is where we change colour. So for row 15, grab your scissors ready and your second colour ready. And to change colour, we're going to start making our last stitch. So yarn over, hook into your last stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, and instead of finishing the stitch in this colour, we're going to drop the coral colour and pick up our next colour, pop that over your hook, make sure you leave enough room to sew in the ends, and then pull that through the 3 loops on your hook instead of the coral. And there you've quite simply changed colour. Now you can snip off your coral colour, and if it makes you feel a little more secure, these 2 ends here, just pop a little knot, overhand knot in there. It will just stop that from coming undone, and we're ready to go in our next colour. So yarn over and chain 1. We're going to repeat, we're continuing on repeating row 2, but this time in our next colour. So yarn over, hook in the back loop, and make your half double crochet stitch, and then carry on repeating row 2 for another 2 rows, and I'll meet you back here to show you how to continue from there. Fabulous. So we've got to row 7, ready to do row 17, and row 17 is for the last time a repeat of row 6, which is the chain 1 skip 1. So we chain 2 for row 6, a repeat of row 6, and then turn your work, and then we skip the first stitch, half double crochet in the back loop of the next. Actually, this yellow colour shows up much nicer on the camera. Chain 1, skip 1, half double crochet in the back loop of the next. So continue now making row 17, which is a repeat of row 6. So for the top row, we're going to chain 1 and turn your work, and we're going to make a half double crochet. Now the top row, we're going to work through both legs of the stitch, so we're going to work through both on every stitch, as opposed to have been working in the back loop only. So make a half double crochet in the first stitch through both legs. Make a half double crochet stitch. Then we're going to make a half double crochet into the next stitch. So we yarn over, so hook through both legs of the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, then yarn over, pull through 3. Now before we go on to the next stitch, we're going to make a little picot, which was those gorgeous little ruffle top. So chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and then in the first chain of the 3 that you've just made, I'll bring the camera in that, so you've made 3 chains, and in the first chain of the 3 that you've just made, pop your hook back in, yarn over and pull through and slip stitch through, just like that. There you go. That's how you do a picot. I'll show you again in a second. Then yarn over, and the next one will be a normal half double crochet stitch. So hook in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 3 loops, and then in the next one we're going to do a picot. So it's a picot in every other stitch. So yarn over, hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through the 3 loops, then chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and in the first chain of the 3 that you've just made, pop your hook back in to that first one, yarn over and then slip stitch through and slip stitch through. There you go, and that creates a lovely little picot. Then the next one is a regular half double crochet stitch. I think that's explained it fairly well. You can rewind the video as many times as you need to. Once you get the hang of these picots, you'll see they're very simple to do, but they give a lovely little finishing effect. So carry on till the end of the row, half double crochet, and then half double crochet picot, and I'll meet you as we're approaching the end of the row. So we're just coming up to the end of the top row, the picot, little picots, and on your last 2 stitches just place 2 regular half double crochet stitches. So half double crochet, and then into the top of that chain stitch there, half double crochet to finish. So you've got a gap either side, and that's you'll see that's where the tie, you need this sort of the gap where the tie is going to go. So there we have one side of your bag And to finish off, yarn over, pull through some yarn, grab your scissors, snip that off and pull that through, snug that down, and you can use your darning needle to sew in those ends. And there you go, that's one side of your bag already done. So when you've made one, go ahead and make the second one exactly the same.